We have known for some time now that Starmer wants to get Britain back in bed with the EU. I mean, he has said it many times since taking over as Prime Minister. Now his puppet master, Tony Blair, has spoke of the importance of a relationship with the EU and has told of Starmer's plan in a stunning admission. As always, we will discuss this in today's video, whilst also going over all of the latest news from the country. But first, hit the like and subscribe button and join our fast-growing community. So yesterday we shared an interview from Keir Starmer that highlighted his desire to quote-unquote reset Britain's relationship with the EU. He said, "We are also resetting our relationship with the EU, and I have made it very clear that I want a closer relationship with the EU." But as we said, Starmer has been warned by the EU that scurrying about trying to get deals is not going to work. Now Tony Blair has hit out at Brexit, saying that Britain has ended up with mass immigration instead of the promise to take back control. The former Prime Minister said, "We have weakened ourselves following the UK's departure from the European Union." Speaking to The Independent, Blair urged Starmer to repair the relationship with the EU, as he said that Western leaders must prepare for a potential global war. Blair also warned about the dangers from Russia, calling the Vladimir Putin delusional. He said, "We need to think how we repair the relationship with the EU, and then in time, we've got to think as a country of where we fit in the world." One of the things that gives a country energy and appetite for facing all the challenges is they know where they fit. There's no doubt we've weakened ourselves. We've swapped out younger, usually single people coming in from Europe to work in hospitality, technology, and other sectors, for much increased immigration from Asia and Africa. By the middle of this century, you're going to have 3 superpowers: America, China, and India. All other countries are going to be small in comparison. Tony then took aim at Brexit, accusing it of failing to deliver on its one big promise of reducing immigration, calling it absolutely extraordinary that Brexit had increased immigration. He added, "I understand it wasn't the intention, but the result is we have higher levels of immigration and high levels of people bringing dependence into the country." As we keep on saying, this approach of scurrying around and forming individual relationships isn't going to work for us. Blair and Starmer know exactly what the remit is and are going about behind our back before springing on a vote to rejoin the EU. It's clear as day as this loads of small relationships with individual countries won't work, as the Mail-reported leaders in Brussels are unhappy with Mr. Starmer's approach of dealing with individual leaders rather than the EU as a whole, with one diplomat cited as saying, "The EU hates the idea of separate little deals because it would damage the EU project. It's all or nothing for them." And there are suggestions Mr. Starmer could leave empty-handed unless he gives ground on key points that may not please Leave voters who return to Labour in the 2024 general election. According to the Mail, Mr. Starmer would have to return freedom of movement for EU citizens under 30 to the UK as part of a youth exchange programme, with young people in the UK also likely to regain it for EU countries as part of the deal. The other concession it suggested was that the Prime Minister would have to exempt EU students from the higher international student fees UK universities charge to other overseas students. Glenn Owens claimed, "If Sir Keir agrees, pro-Brexit voters, include those in the northern Red Wall seats Labour won back from the Tories in the general election, will surely revolt. But if he doesn't, he will leave any talks empty-handed." What are your thoughts on all of this? And is it a stunt to get us back in the EU? Blair then went on to talk about other things, such as Russia saying the West must stand up to the Kremlin and be resolute in its support for Kiev. He said, "The one thing that Putin thinks is that he can always outlast the West, that the West lacks staying power. We must provide evidence, and Ukraine is the test, that it's got staying power." He added, "If we ever end up with a major global conflict, it will almost certainly be as a result of the American-Chinese relationship deteriorating. I find it hard to believe that either America or China want such a conflict. China's got such a massive interest in stability. Yet what Russia did in Ukraine changed the conventional wisdom. I think you've got to be anxious, because you've also got flashpoints like Taiwan, and obviously what Putin's doing in Europe that could potentially lead to this. The consequences of such a conflict would be so devastating, so I hope people won't do it. But you've got to prepare for all eventualities. Blair also addressed his controversial legacy, particularity over his decision to invade Iraq alongside the US. He said, "The relationship with the US was absolutely critical for me and still is. Now, I know a lot of people didn't like the decisions I took, post 9/11 on Afghanistan and, of course, Iraq. But it was always important that we stayed as the closest American ally, and I still believe that's still true. History is a long time in the making, and look, there may be different perspectives in time that come about on it." Lastly, the King has sent his heartfelt congratulations to the Paralympian athletes from Team GB. It comes as the Paralympics are set to close tonight, with Paralympic champions and Games debutantes Matt Bush and Poppy Maskill carrying the Team GB flag. The King paid tribute to the team in Paris, saying they were inspiring, encouraging, and lifting the hearts of all. Team GB finished in second in the medals table behind China and above the United States. The King's message to Paralympians said, "As this wonderful summer of sport comes to a close in Paris, my wife joins me in sending our heartfelt congratulations to the Paralympian athletes from Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and from across the whole Commonwealth, for their numerous successes at this year's Games. Behind every medal won lies a wonderful story of courage, commitment, and true talent, matched by a determination that has taken you to the very top. We rejoice in your victories, while saluting and celebrating all those who have taken part, as well as thanking the support teams who play such a special part in your achievements. Your example has succeeded in inspiring, encouraging, and lifting the hearts of all." The royal account previously shared a message from the Duke of Edinburgh wishing the athletes good luck ahead of the Games last month. Chef de mission Penny Briscoe expects the standard of the Paralympics to continue to creep up after Great Britain retained second place in the medal table at Paris 2024. Britain were once again the best of the rest, as China continued their domination of the Games by securing 94 golds as part of a remarkable total of 220. Britain, who have now finished runners-up at 6 of the last 7 Summer Paralympics, will return home with 124 medals, 49 gold, 44 silver, and 31 bronze. The overall tally is the same as the team managed at Tokyo 2020, albeit there have been 8 more golds this time around. Briscoe paid tribute to the achievements of British athletes ahead of tonight's closing ceremony at Stade de France, while warning against complacency looking ahead to Los Angeles in 2028. She said, "What a Games it's been. I'm incredibly proud of the achievements of our athletes, who really did show just how competitive we are as a team across a broad range of sports and impairment groups. The standards set at this Games were exceptional, and medals and personal bests have never been more hard-fought. To deliver 124 medals, including an incredible 49 golds, is a testimony to the talent of our athletes, the quality of their preparation, and the dedication of those who support them. I'm so incredibly proud of each and every athlete for creating so many memorable moments for the nation, but also for global audiences to enjoy." What are your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video? Let me know down in the comment section below. If you've not yet already, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more British content. Thank you. Take care. Goodbye.